So let us take a look at the original question where this whole discussion comes from. And it is that one over there. Let f of x be equal to x times by ln of x. And then we need to find the first derivative of f with respect to e. So we can unpack this a little bit. We have there x times by ln of x. So it's a multiplication. And then we can replace the ln with log base e. And then we can take that part and break it up with the fourth logarithmic law, as we discussed earlier, to give us that log of x over the log of e with the new base, which we can assume is then 10, still multiplied with the x over there. And the question was, we need to find the derivative of f to e. This doesn't make much sense if you look at it just like that. Just looking at that we have over there, and we need to find the derivative of f to e. It doesn't really go down well. It seems a bit confusing. So let's recap grade 12 calculus for a moment. So we go back to grade 12. So remember, when you had something like this, f of x is equal to 3x to the power of 4 plus 2x to the power of 2. Any example of an expression from grade 12, you will then remember that to find the first derivative, you multiply the exponent with a number at the front and then subtract 1 from the exponent. So you get 12x to the power of 3 plus 4x to the power of 1. Now this is normally in school referred to as the shortcut method to find the derivative compared to the first principles, which is the long technique. But in actual fact, the name of this technique is the sum and difference rule in calculus, or for derivatives. It boils down to the following technique. Find the derivatives of the various elements individually. So we found the derivative of that, we found the derivative of that individually, and then we just either add or subtract them depending on the sign at the front. But similarly, there is a product rule and a quotient rule and the chain rule, just as there is the sum and difference rule. So in school, you only do the sum and difference rule, but when you go with higher calculus, you also learn about the product rule, the quotient rule, and the chain rule. So we need to unpack that as well. Now, the product rule and the chain rule are two of the most important tools in calculus. They're often used together, especially in questions involving logarithms, which we know we have, exponentials, which we know we have, and then also composite expressions, which we think we might have with the multiplication. So here is a clear, detailed comparison with use cases, triggers, in other words, what to look for to know which of those rules to use, and some worked examples. So this obviously is a very important discussion because this forms the basis of answering that original question. You need to understand this, the product rule, the chain rule, and the quotient rule. So starting with the product rule, you are differentiating the product of two functions. Now remember, we have this. We already said we have a multiplication of two functions. How do we know that there are two functions? Each of them contain x. So there's not just a number there, there's something containing x. So we can refer to them as two functions, and you are differentiating the product of two functions. So for instance, we have, like we know, x times by ln x. But before we get there, let us just unpack the product rule generically. So this is how it is typically defined. F of x is equal to u of x times by v of x. And what it basically comes down to is there's the one function. You should know from function notation. You've got a name and then a bracket and a variable. So u of x is a function of x, and v of x is another function of x. And they like to use the u and the v in the product rule, the chain rule, and the quotient rule, the definitions. So don't get confused with the u and the v. Those are just two names given to two separate functions. And specifically now we are looking at the multiplication of those two functions. So the derivative of that multiplication is then given by this formula. And again, it looks very intimidating, it looks very big, but essentially we have there the variable of that function, and then there the function as it was originally given, and then there the second function as it was originally given, and there the derivative of that second function, and they are being added in the middle. So that's pretty much all that it is there. That just is a notation of asking for the derivative of this product, the multiplication of the two functions. The right-hand side is what you need to understand. Now, common triggers for when the product rule should be considered are types like the following. So we already know that's the function we were originally given, and they say this is a typical trigger, so we know we are going to be using the product rule in finding the answer of that original question. But then something like that as well, e to the power of x times by sine x. Again, you can clearly see the two different functions there. As there are two separate functions that are being multiplied. And then to find the derivative of that multiplication, you can use the product rule. But let's just also take a look at the chain rule. So you might remember questions from school such as f of g of x. Now these are composite functions, or functions inside functions. That was a typical question that you would have found in graphs in grade 10, grade 11, and grade 12. Now to find the derivative of such a function inside a function, because obviously this is no longer a multiplication of two separate functions, we use a formula which is given over there. Now let's just unpack this again. We've got there the derivative of g, so whatever the original function is, its derivative, and then there multiplied with the derivative of the inside function. So in other words, differentiate the outside, the g of x, then multiply by the derivative of the inside, which is h of x. And common triggers, when you can consider the chain rule, are something like that, where you've got ln, which we know is a function, and then there's a separate function inside. So let's just, again, unpack this a little bit, rather than just putting it on the table and say that's a common trigger. Let's see what we have. So u is then the x squared plus 1, and the outside function is then ln of u. So what they've done is they took that whole thing and just made it one variable, a function u, and then ln of u is the separate function. So the derivative of the outer function, which is the ln of u, is that one over there, 1 over u. So you should know from a previous video that the derivative of ln of x is just 1 over x. I specifically said it's something that you just need to remember because it comes up often. So the derivative of ln of x, or ln of u in this case, is just 1 over u, and the derivative of that, using grade 12 calculus, is just 2x. So the derivative of the whole function, if you then go back to the rule, or the formula for the chain rule, is then to say we've got 1 over u as the derivative of the outer function. So let's just replace u again with x plus 1, and there we have it. Multiplied with the derivative of the inside function, which we've calculated over there. So multiplied by 2x, and it gives us that, 2x over x squared plus 1, and that is then the derivative of that function that we started with. Now these could also be combined, so we can also say that we get a function like that, where you now have x times by the function we have just done, ln of x squared plus 1. So notice the product of these two functions. So now the product rule comes in and the chain rule comes in. So you will then have to use the chain rule for the second part and the product rule for the final answer. So you'll take that part, just basically what we've just done in the previous example, and then use that plus that with the product rule, which we've done before. Remember the product rule, there it is, and then find the derivative of that combined function. Now other triggers for the chain rule are typically something like that, where you get sine, which is a trigonometric function, and then 3x inside the brackets, or under a square root. So the square root is a function, and then inside the square root there is another function, or then there, e to the power of x squared, where the x squared is the second function and e of x is the first function, or then e of u, if you want to look at it like this, like we did before. E of u is one function and x squared is the second function. But for those types of questions, you will typically then use the chain rule.